Hi guys, and welcome to my domain. So, I just don't know anymore, you guys. I really don't. There's no real big script I have planned for this. There's really nothing planned out for this except for me just talking from my heart, just talking and yammering a little bit about all this situation. So, real quick, I just want to let y'all know the preface of this video, why I'm doing it, why I'm making it, why I believe it's important, all that good stuff. So, I want to make this video for two different reasons, both to educate and warn. So, I want to, because you know what, YouTube, whether you like it or not, houses a lot of minors in itself. So I'm hoping that this can reach some of them, and I hope I can warn them and educate them about the dangers of what's going on. And I feel like I just need to talk about this. It's something that's been weighing on my mind for a little bit, just talking about this overarching instead of maybe one specific person within the Friday Night Funkin community. I will be talking about the Friday Night Funkin community, warning minors about all of the different situations that's going on, and talking about why I believe the fandom seems so bad, considerably to other fandoms per se. And of course, like I said, I want to educate also minors on the dangers of joining said fandoms like Friday Night Funkin community. It's not the only community that's bad out there, guys. Trust me, it's really not. Right now, it's one of the more popular ones. So unfortunately, that's where people stuff is happening. But a lot of other stuff is happening in other communities. And unfortunately, that's also coming back within stuff like the Five Nights at Freddy's community now that Security Breach is out. So let me go ahead and talk a little bit about all this. And let me first address just like fandoms in general. And for all of you minors out there, why you need to be careful and what you can do to be careful. So I've been on the internet for a while, and I've definitely seen a lot of crap. You have a lot of friends that will share stuff to you in school. Stupid 1 man, 1 jar, 3 girls, 1 cup. You get all this other different crap that you really didn't want to see, but your friends are going to show you anyways. Because that's what, I guess, friends do in school, which is such a weird concept if you ask me. I don't know why. I guess it's just like oh my god, look at this looks gross, and they want to share it with you, even though you're kind of traumatized a little bit about it. But anyways, whole different story. What I do want to talk to y'all today about, especially to minors, is be careful when you join fandoms. I have been in many fandoms throughout the years, whether that be from the Five Nights at Freddy's community, the Undertale community, different anime communities, whatever have you. And I've been around for a little bit, on the internet especially, and I've been in these different communities where I've interacted with different people and where I've heard of a lot of different things from different people as well. And unfortunately, that seems to definitely be coming back with the Friday Night Funkin community. So what I want to warn y'all about is be careful about just in general everything about a fandom, honestly. There's just so much crap that happens behind the scenes that I don't think a lot of people realize happens when you join a fandom, especially for minors. This is why I specifically wanted to gear this video to y'all. Y'all need to not really and truly don't be talking to adults in the fandom. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit harsh, and there are to some degree exceptions. I'm not saying that adult and minor can't have somewhat of a friendship, at least a companionship, to just be friendly towards each other and nice towards each other. I mean, don't be going around and being rude to minors for joining fandoms, because we were all there. I was there back in the day too, and I would hate for someone to be rude to me when I was in the Undertale fandom, which some people were. But anyways, so it happens, right? But why I want to warn y'all is specifically minors, y'all should not be around adults. And adults, y'all should know better than to be, mostly primarily hanging out with minors. Y'all need to find people in y'all's age group. Because here, this is the thing. This is what's causing so much distress on the internet and so much problems on the internet for different fandoms, especially when minors and adults mix together. That's where a lot of the problems really and truly come out. And unfortunately, a lot of those problems end up being either minors are not mature enough to understand what's going on. So you get a lot of a lot of fandoms get a lot of bad reputation because of minors, unfortunately. But unfortunately, that also, on the flip side of that, we also have adults who prey on minors. And you definitely see this a lot more and more because it's really nasty and unfortunate for me to say this, but it's mostly like my generation, if not, you know, a little bit older and stuff, because they know the internet. They know how this stuff works. They grew up on it. So now that these nasty people are all grown up, they're like, you know what? I know exactly what I need to do in order to gain this minor's trust. I know exactly how I'm going to gain their trust, how I'm going to do this and X and whatever have you. They know how to manipulate minors because they were once minors on the internet themselves, so they understand how to do that. See, a lot of minor supervision on the internet is very lackluster. A lot of parents do not take the initiative, or maybe they don't understand the internet well enough. Again, I'm not going to bash my parents. I'm not going to say that they did an awful job with that. But, you know, my parents didn't, of course, know the internet like I did. And I definitely feel like I know the internet way better than them. And that happens with a lot of people, you know, around my age group. They, of course, know the internet. They grew up on it. They understand how to work it. And so, like I said, unfortunately, now a lot of those, some of those adults, not a lot of them, I should not say a lot of them, but some of those adults know how to take advantage of that and take advantage of minors on there. So minors, what I'm telling y'all is that if you are interacting with an adult, do so usually in a public place. And when I say like a public place, because most of the time this stuff, like this crap, happens on Discord or maybe Reddit or Twitter, I don't know. Interact only with adults where other people can see it, maybe in different servers and like that. And even at that, it's just best if you keep a certain level of companionship at that. Do not take it past friend, like, you know, this is hard for me to say because, like, I know that there's a lot of, you know, minors who just want friends and this and that, and who are not actively looking, you know, for bad crap. But unfortunately, this is gonna happen. So what I can tell y'all is you should not form deep friendships with adults. It's just, it can't happen. It cannot happen. And I know I might get some criticism for that, but usually what happens with that is adults know how to take advantage of minors, right? This is why I'm very wary of interacting with minors, even on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I only try and play with minors on streams where I know people are watching because I know they want to play with me, and I know they don't have any, obviously, like, malicious intent. I don't have any malicious intent, but at the same time, I am the adult. I need to be responsible for my actions, and I need to make sure I ensure a safe place for those minors as well, which means that, hey, as an adult, it's probably not a good idea for me to be going to play Roblox with them all by myself with no one else around. That just spells out trouble regardless. Even though I'm definitely not doing anything, it just spells out trouble regardless. And this is why I'm now both talking to minors and adults. Adults, we, you know, my fellow adults, we have a level of responsibility here. We do. And we need to ensure that minors are safe on the internet. Obviously, I'm not saying go out of your way and, like, go out and expose every predator and do this and that. Like, I'm not saying that you need to do that, but just, you know, obviously if you're going to be in a fandom, you know that you're going to interact with a minor one way or another. It's just going to happen because especially bigger fandoms, they're going to house minors. Just make sure that you're being, you know, safe about it. Make sure that, hey, if you see that someone is taking advantage of a minor, you call that crap out. And that you don't be weird with a minor yourself. I don't think that's too much to ask, you know what I'm saying? And minors, definitely y'all need to be careful with yourselves. Do not be sexual, definitely with adults. I've been seeing that, and it's just creepy as hell. Please don't try anything sexual with adults, because that's just going to spell out so much trouble. And you're probably going to live to regret it when you grow up, and you're going to be like, dang, I was really cringy back then. Just don't do that. And just be careful when you interact with adults too, because they have that higher responsibility, but unfortunately they have that higher functionality to know how to take advantage of minors. And you may be thinking, oh, well, I'm too smart to be taking advantage of it. Yeah, we all thought that. We all thought that as a minor too. And unfortunately, when we look back on some things, when we talk with adults, we'll be like, oh, that adult should not have been probably talking to me like that. I've had instances where that's happened to me in fandoms too. And I look back and I'm like, yeah, I probably should have not done that. So this is why I'm reaching out to like everybody at this point. Be careful about who you talk to. Minors, as I said before, just be careful, especially with the adults in any community. Definitely, if anything, I would definitely recommend hanging out with your age group. In general, that's just safer for you. If anything happens, well, at least y'all are all the same age or around the same age. It's just smarter, and at least y'all are all at the same level of mental capacity, so nothing's going to be weird about it. And adults, again, I'm not saying that you can't necessarily be friendly with minors, but don't make them your primary friends. You know, you have to have adult friends within the community. You can't just have all minor friends and think that's going to be okay, because that isn't. Because that's going to spell out trouble, because that's going to look bad on you as well. Even if you're not doing anything, just be proactive, be smart about it, right? So that's my warning to y'all. Just what I've noticed throughout like different fandoms and why I think it's just been getting worse and worse, especially. It's because, as I said before, the adults who grew up in the internet who are creepy know what they're doing, know how to take advantage of minors. And so that's why I want everyone to play a responsible role. Whether you're a minor or adult, we all have like a little bit of a duty on the internet to try and be safe or to keep people safe. So we need to keep trying to ensure that we're doing that. We need, especially now, there has to be better responsibility out there. There really does. We can't be continuing to do what we're doing now, because obviously that's just not working. Any big fandom is going to house minors, whether you like it or not, and it's just gonna be the way it happens. So we got to make the best of it, and we got to ensure that everybody's safe. Now, on to kind of the next topic about the next part of the video I want to talk about is, now that I've talked about that, why does it seem like the Friday Night Funkin community itself houses so many groomers? Whether we're talking about Alta, Kodomodachi, who now goes by Mirth, Shannon Sunday, the list goes on and on and on. And why is there so much drama? Also, just in general, maybe just not, groomer intentions. But why is there so much drama in the Friday Night Funkin community? Well, I think I have a little bit of an explanation for that, right? Oh, and I should also mention too that another reason I was bringing this up is because, Kodomodachi is back on the internet and stronger than ever, might I add you. Like I've talked about before, she now goes by the name of Mirth, and she's infiltrated the Five Nights at Freddy's community, and she's making a lot of, animation memes surrounding Security Breach, which is very, very worrisome, because I'm afraid that now that she's moved out of the Friday Night Funkin community, she might groom another minor in the FNAF community, because it's no secret that there's a lot of minors in that community. So I'm very scared that she might potentially get into that community now and groom another minor, or something's going to happen. So be watchful about that, guys. That's something I've also been worrying about. She's also apparently got into the Vanos community, where she created a skin for one of the people who was in the Vanos crew. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but she made a skin for them, and I bet the poor guy doesn't even know. She made a community post about it, and it's crazy how much traction she's been getting. It's crazy. I'm very worried that because of all the attention she's getting, she might potentially lure yet another minor into her grasp and might once again date another minor. We'll have to see, though. I don't know, guys. I don't know. So a lot of people have pointed this out to me. They'll be like, hey, the Friday Night Funkin community ain't it. There's just so many bad people in it, yada, yada, yada. And while that can be true, I think what people don't also realize is that, in a sense, it's a good thing that these people are being exposed for who they are. See, what makes the Friday Night Funkin community different from a lot of other bigger communities, maybe like FNAF and Undertale, is that we have a lot of different Friday Night Funkin modders, right? And a lot of these modders are put on pedestals and are seen as popular people and are seen as like basically these public figures, because a lot of them get very famous. You have all these different big names, right? You have Cade, you have Coulson, Seval, also Vanilla, which is a personal friend of mine. She is awesome, by the way. And you just have a lot of these different people that are very famous within the community, and so a lot of people look up to them in the Friday Night Funkin community as basically kind of like a celebrity, almost, honestly. So when they do something, it's gonna be called out. it is going to be called out. Like, this is not something that's just going to go be swept under the rug. No, whatever crap that they do, it's going to be called out because people are keeping a close eye on them. Not necessarily for malicious intentions to be like, oh, when you mess up, I'm going to come get you. Some people may be like that, but just because they're under close surveillance because of their popularity. It's like any other almost celebrity. And especially being on the internet, well, yeah, you're definitely going to see internet traction on them if they do anything. So the reason why we see so many groomers and so much drama, ranging from homophobia, transphobia, all this other crap with different modders, is because they are put on this pedestal, and because when they do something, they're going to be knocked down really quick by the community because we know who they are and we can instantly call them out for it. We can't necessarily do that for any other community. See, the unfortunate reality is that for any big fandom, whether it be one of the other ones I've talked about before, there's always going to be grooming. And I can't tell you that, hey, Friday Night Funkin' has the most allegations of grooming, because that might not necessarily be true. It's just the one where it's most public. And that's why I am okay with the Friday Night Funkin' community in itself, is because they are the ones willing to call out these people, and they're not necessarily afraid to do so. They're not afraid to get these groomers out of here so that way we can enjoy the actual community, the actual good side of the community. You know what I'm saying? But we don't see this in other fandoms because we never had this type of support, I feel like, first of all. And also, we've never had this type of interaction before where there's multiple different people who are famous for something. You know, if you talked about Undertale, you're only going to be talking about Toby Fox. So if Toby Fox screws up, you'll hear about, maybe Tammy too, you know, you'll hear about very few different people within the Undertale community. So if they screw up, you'll hear about that. But you're not going to hear about all the underlying fandom crap that goes that's going on underneath it. You're not going to hear about all the other grooming allegations, which there was a lot of grooming going on, even in the Undertale fandom, but we just didn't hear about it because, you know, those people who were grooming, they weren't famous. They weren't big like the Friday Night Funkin' modders, and that goes for the FNAF community as well. We definitely heard when Scott messed up, but we don't hear about the groomers. You know, you sometimes you hear about them, but not a whole lot, right? Because there's so many different Friday Night Funkin' modders out there that, like I said, when they mess up, we'll definitely hear about it. It's not just about Ninja Muffin anymore and his mod team. There are so many different mod teams that are under a watchful and close eye that when they mess up, we'll hear about it. So that's why it's so different from any other fandom that we've been. And that's why we hear so much drama and allegations of grooming and compared to other fandoms. Just because there's so many other people in this fandom that are put on this pedestal compared to others. So that's why I feel like we hear about it a lot more in the Friday Night Funkin' community. And it's quite a shame, really, because honestly, I still play the mods to this day, but now, you know, even I get discouraged. I'm like, oh my god, you know, the freaking Bob and Bo ship, however the hell you say, the Moore guy, he got just called out for it, you know, today or yesterday, whatever have you, about trying to chat with, you know, people who are as young as 12 to like 15, you know, asking for gross things or saying gross things about them. I'm like, bruh, can we not have anything nice in this community? But the thing is, it's because people are able and willing to call them out for it because they know who they are. Unfortunately, guys, though, this is just the surface level of people who get groomed. There's a lot more people who get groomed and in multiple different fandoms that we just don't hear about because it's not as big. It's not on the Friday Night Funkin' modder level. So because those people aren't popular, we're not going to hear about them. We're barely scratching the surface when we talk about grooming in the Friday Night Funkin' community, right? Any fandom for that matter, because there's so much other crap that probably goes on in private that never gets heard of. And that's very unfortunate because it's just like anything with any other allegations, you know. You'll only hear the famous stories, I guess you could call it. You'll only hear the really public stories, but you're never going to hear the full 100% truth. And we're only going to get a surface level of the victims out there because some of them may never come forward, and some of them may feel like, oh, well, you know, my groomer, whoever is irrelevant, people are not going to listen. Why am I going to talk about it? You know, I'm not going to gain nearly enough traction that I need to talk about them. And it's very unfortunate, but that is the case. So that's why we're seeing so many in the Friday Night Funkin community, guys. It's because it's not necessary. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's more groomers in the Friday Night Funkin community. It just means that it's more widespread. It's more out there. People are willing to call it out. And that's why I'm okay with the community. I just need to talk about this with you guys. I needed to get this off my chest. This is something I've been really wanting to talk about. And I feel like this was the last nail in the coffin when I heard about Amor. Because I've just been hearing so many people hating on the Friday Night Funkin community, and I understandably so, because it does seem like there are freaking a lot of groomers out there. But I wanted to talk about it and why it seems like that, and why, you know, minors definitely should be careful in fandoms wherever they are. Especially now with Security Breach out, be careful in the FNAF community, because now we're going to see an influx of new minors and new people coming into the community, and God only knows what's going to happen with that. So just keep an eye out. Again, we all have a part to play on the internet to keep everybody safe. So let's ensure that we keep playing that part, so that minors do not further get groomed, and that we just keep the internet safe. Like, honestly, it is up to us. We need to be the people who keep the internet safe, because no one else is surely going to do it, and something needs to change. That's pretty much all I got for y'all. If y'all want to talk about it in the comments, let's talk about it, because there's more I could say, but I don't want this to go on for too long. So I will see all of y'all in the next video or stream. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.